Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. Welcome to another episode of Arthritis at Home. Today, I'm really happy to be spending some time with the newest member of the ACE team, Ellen Wang. Hi, Ellen.
Hi, everyone. And Kelly, thank you for having me again.
Now, Ellen, when you're not doing great work with ACE, I do know you're doing a little work somewhere else, and that's in academia. And why don't you quickly describe for our viewers today your field of study and some of the focus of the work that you're doing?
Absolutely. And so my other hustle is I'm a PhD student working at Arthritis Research Canada with Dr. Linda Li. And really it's through the University of British Columbia. And some of the work focuses, on really that joint care aspect that ACE also touches on, as well as the knowledge translation piece. So how do we take what we already know that already exists and put it out there in a way that makes people want to engage with it? So that's what we call knowledge translation. And then my own interests lie in this kind of field of self-management and patient activation, which is how do we get people to want to really be involved, to be the captain of their own ship in terms of managing their own chronic conditions.
Now, certainly in the month of December, and this usually occurs in the winter months here in Canada, but in the past month, we've had a lot of our members and subscribers ask us questions about strategies, not just self-care, but specifically as it relates to exercise and movement and getting off the couch, sleeping better. I want to talk to you today specifically around those areas of concern and questions that our ACE members and subscribers are really focused on and interested in during these winter months. And one of the things that you're going to talk to us about, and maybe just start by introducing, is this concept of the 24-hour movement and the guidelines behind it that the federal government has developed to help people get active and be healthier. And this obviously is particularly of interest for people living with arthritis, whether it's osteoarthritis or an inflammatory arthritis, who have particular challenges as it relates to mobility, who have challenges when it comes to sleeping. So maybe just take us through these guidelines, and then we can maybe focus on a few of these areas.
Absolutely. So, I'm super excited about these as one who's an exercise physiologist and a personal trainer. It's a kind of a new concept of, instead of being prescriptive about exercise, 150 minutes, we've all heard it, from the doctor, from the media, but instead thinking of our entire day as an opportunity to move, right? Not even to be active or do exercise, but to move. So this kind of concept is, we have a certain amount of hours in our day, 24. And if you look at your day, how much of that day should be spent being in movement? How much of that day should be, spent sleeping? How many hours of the day should we limit our kind of sedentary time, our screen time as well? So kind of those are the major components of the 24-hour movement guideline, and it is broken down for each. And on the CSEP website, which is Canadian Society of Exercise Physiology, the acronym is CSEP. They will actually kind of give you tips and pointers for those.
Can you maybe just walk us through some of those tips and pointers? And we will share a link at the end of this interview so people can go visit the website. But let's just start with physical activity. What are some of the types of physical activity that they're recommending that might be really helpful for our viewers?
Absolutely. So this the concept of 150 minutes, that still stands, right? We know that from science. Getting 150 minutes per week is a threshold told that is really beneficial for most individuals, whether that's cardiorespiratory health, whether that's bone and joint health. But instead of saying it has to be done in chunks of 10 minutes or more, it's now this concept of move more. Whatever the chunks are, as long as we accumulate that vigorous enough intensity, and we are able to get it in our week in a way that works for us. And it's broken up down still into kind of the aerobic or the cardiorespiratory fitness, which is walking, which is swimming. Then you have the resistance training, which, you know, they've kept quite loose. So 2 sessions of resistance training per week, or muscle strengthening, I think is the terminology that we use. And finally, some balance exercises are recommended if you are over the age of 65. So that is kind of what encompasses physical activity.
Now, it's great in theory, especially if you're living in Southern California. Most of our viewers are above the 49th parallel, and we're faced with Canadian winters, and that means being forced inside. Can you give us some sort of practical ways there that we can incorporate physical activity into our lives, particularly, you know, those 6 months when it's dark and cold in a lot of places in Canada?
Absolutely. And I think with the extreme weather that we're experiencing all over Canada, it makes things extra hard.
Right.
But in kind of behavioral sciences, they say that, you know, a habit is truly a habit when you can take it and continue on with it when there's contributions, or if you're in a new environment. So think of it this way: if you've already developed some sort of habit, say for me, it was going to the gym, that's been stopped because of these contributions and stresses in our life. If I can continue on with it, that means it's truly a habit. So I think this is an opportunity to test your habit, or think of this as an opportunity to form new habits, right? So first, start reframing how we think about this. And the second would be, Dr. Linda Li always says, before you start counseling someone on physical activity, ask them what their day looks like. So ask yourself, do I sit down for 3 hours during that board meeting that I attend every Wednesday night? If so, can I set an alarm to stand up every 30 minutes just for a little stretch, whether it's to grab a glass of water? So think about your day, right? So maybe even map it out so that you are able to see it. And then for me, because I'm now a PhD student, I have realized, okay, I can't block off a certain amount of time to go to the gym every day if I wanted to. So I kind of sneak it in. When I'm making coffee in the morning, I might do a few stretches. I can show you guys back here in my kitchen. That's what I've prepared. When I am, you know, making my lunch or heating something up in the microwave, I might go and do a few push-ups. If I'm waiting for my coffee in the afternoon, I might go and do a few squats. So I'm trying to put it in there whenever I can. So making it a part of my day. Yeah, Kelly, if you don't mind, I'll kind of stand up and show everyone how I kind of use my kitchen space. I love doing push-ups on a counter. I think it's really accessible. And what I do is I always stand facing my counter surface. I spread my hands, and because I also have kind of really weak wrists and I want to protect them, I make sure I spread my fingers for lots of padding, right? I grip my thumb underneath the edge. I walk back so my body is tilted. I ensure my bum isn't sticking out. So I squeeze my glute muscles. I pull up my belt. Good. And from here, I take a deep breath in. I'm going to let my elbows slide past my body. I lift my heels off, and then exhale. So breathing out, I push all the way back up. So I keep my belly nice and long. I shouldn't be looking at the camera. So you're going to look straight ahead when you do this. So I do a few push-ups, and I'm waiting for a glass of tea, etc. In the morning, I'll show you. I do a few stretches. So if you put your hands just above eye level, walk your feet back, and then you're going to hinge your hips back, and you're going to reach your hands forward. From here, you're going to take a deep breath in, and you're going to imagine someone's pulling a string from the crown of your head out. You get a nice stretch from your back. For me, this is, you know, good enough of a stretch. And if you do have a lot of mobility, you're welcome to walk your feet back and walk your hands down as well. So those kind of are my 2 favorites I'll always incorporate into my day.
So I think it's even more important today, living in the pandemic, that when you're talking about incorporating activity into your daily life and behavior modification, those two things are really critical during COVID, because obviously, if you were going to a gym or if you were regularly going out and now you're self-isolating or your gym is closed because of COVID restrictions, you really have to become so much more self-reliant and doing a lot of these things from the home. So I think it's a really important message, not just in terms of Canadian winters, but in the face of the restrictions because of pandemic. So people understand when you mention sedentary, what we're referring to is sitting down, lying down. And what do we need to know about how much we need to limit those periods of sedentary behavior or lying around or sitting down?
And that's a great question, Kelly, and it's really an evolving area. So more recently, they found that there's benefit to doing, exercise at above a certain intensity. They also found that there's additional benefit if for the rest of the day you were trying to break up those sedentary periods. So it's almost two different things, like being active, but also moving when you can, right? And not allowing yourself to, like Kelly, like you mentioned, sit down, lie down for too long of a period.
I'm one of the many people who has a COVID puppy, and she turned 1 year old. It's not my first dog, but it's the first time I ever did the calculation. And we celebrated the first year of her being part of our family. And I figured, I did the math. I go, with her in my life, I've probably been outside walking over 1,000 times over the past year when I normally wouldn't have been walking. I'm not saying or suggesting everybody go get a dog, but I am saying that that's just another means for me to not be sitting watching television or lying down reading a book all day. It gets me out. So whatever it is that inspires you or motivates you, take advantage of those opportunities.
Absolutely.
One of the constant questions that we get over at ACE, as you're well aware, Ellen, is people asking us, what are the secrets to getting a good night's sleep? And I'm hoping you might be able to unlock some of those mysteries for us today in terms of what people should be thinking about trying to get their 7 or 8 hours of sleep every night.
And, I think it comes down to the same thing for whether it's, to move more, to sleep well, it's that consistency, right? And consistency might not be, I'm going to exercise 4:15 every single day. In some people that works, that level of consistency works. For others, it's every commercial break while I'm watching, this show on TV, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do 5 jumping jacks, right? Maybe that's consistency. But to have a practice that you do in a routine manner, and again, I'm not super good at this, so I don't feel super qualified to speak about, sleep and this concept of sleep hygiene, where you have a bedtime routine about 30 minutes before you start to kind of wind down, I think is actually the term that they use online on the Sleep Foundation website. But again, it's just this concept of how do you teach your body when it is time to get ready to go to bed. And it takes a lot of time to build that structure and to build that routine, so your body will physiologically learn, okay, it's time to go to bed. I can take a deep breath. I can relax.
To summarize, Ellen, then, what does the science, what's the evidence tell us when you combine, the benefits of increased activity, limiting sedentary periods, sleeping better. What are the benefits for individuals?
I think, as a researcher, I want to say it's clinical outcomes. There's a measure for it. But from like as a human and as a patient myself, I would say it's quality of life, right? It's the things that really will build and be the foundation of your happiness, because we know that exercising, physical activity, more movement is really good for, yes, our body, but our mood as well. We also know that sleep is almost like the key to regulating your hormones. And more research is really kind of tapping into that. What sleep does for a brain as an adult is fascinating as well. But really, those are the foundation, those are your building blocks of how we achieve happiness. If I were to kind of summarize.
Thank you so much for your time today, Ellen. And you are doing a great job translating that knowledge. And we really, at A's benefit, not only the work that you're doing with us in terms of your program managing, but certainly the expertise that you're gaining in this field is helping our organization and helping all the viewers who are joining us at Arthritis at Home. We are going to have some links for people at the end where they can get more information. Are there any other resources that you want to share at this time?
I would just, encourage everyone to look around in their own network. And Kelly, as you said, having a puppy had that sense of support, but also accountability. So within your own life, is there somebody you can start doing this with and be like, okay, every time we make tea, we got to do those 10 push-ups and make it a challenge, right? So look within, kind of look around what resources are already there that you can use and build your routine into, right? So that would be my 2 cents.
Right. Fantastic final words. Thank you again, Ellen. And thank you everyone for joining us on another episode of Arthritis Home. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye.